I was going to say that the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has once again found himself in the slightly uncomfortable position of grappling with his family's rather dubious historical entanglements. And then I thought, actually, I think there's a sneaky, smug self-satisfaction that once again he's in the limelight. This time it's his great-great-great-grandfather, Sir James Fergusson, a man who made his living rather grimly by enslaving people on the Roselle plantation in Jamaica, and the good Archbishop, who discovered his ancestral tie after a revelatory DNA test in 2016, has publicly confronted this evil trade and seems eager to address the legacies of such historical wrongs with the gravitas one would expect of the Church. The Church of England, not to be outdone by the Archbishop's personal revelations, has set up a £100 million reparation fund in January 2023, intended to ease the moral burden of its own links to slavery. However, as is often the case with large bureaucratic institutions, the figure was considered inadequate by its critics, and indeed an oversight group suggested a sum closer to £1 billion might be a more fitting tribute to historical accountability. One can only speculate that the £100 million was just a drop in the vast ecclesiastical ocean, something to patch over the Archbishop's conscience, or more cynically, to ensure he maintains his ever-present quest for relevance in modern British society. Mr. Welby has not exactly shied away from publicity, has he? His fondness for wading into every national crisis, housing benefits, the plight of Palestinian Christians, and even his rather improbable parentage suggests a man who relishes his role as a moral arbiter of the nation. His latest endeavour to confront the legacies of enslavement during a trip to Jamaica is part of this moral pilgrimage. Though one might question whether the money set aside is enough to truly address the past, or whether it is simply a gesture to keep the Archbishop firmly in the headlines when it looks as if the King and the Prime Minister are going to seize the initiative. Welby himself reflects on his family's past with suitably clerical solemnity, thanking those who have tirelessly researched the subject, and naturally many of these researchers are descendants of enslaved people themselves. While the gesture is outwardly gracious, one can't help but sense a touch of performative righteousness in his statements. After all, he's keen to assure the public that he's received no money from his biological father, Sir Anthony Montague Brown, and that his personal gain from this unsavoury legacy amounts to little more than a complete surprise. All in all, Mr. Welby has been quick to do the right thing, or at least the visible thing, as he reflects on this journey towards healing, justice and repair. One wonders if it's not so much a journey of healing for the Church as it is for Justin Welby's public image. What better way to remain relevant than to remind us of our collective guilt with a dash of personal drama thrown in for good measure?